Hi guys, Anna with the Foodful. We are going to tackle the poached egg. It's a little intimidating, but it's really easy. Just follow a few quick tips and tricks. I think that you'll have some incredible poached eggs coming soon. Poached eggs are one of my favorite ways to eat eggs. I love this thing. Now, most people are used to poached eggs on like an avocado toast. I like to put it over pasta. Sometimes that'll help create a really cool sauce. It just kind of depends on what you like. So today we have everything that we're gonna need to do a poached egg, okay? We've got our water boiling right now, sort of. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it up. We have our egg. We're only gonna do one or two, but I've got a plenty here in case we need a couple of practice rounds. Vinegar, and we've got our salt, a couple of utensils, and we have a thermometer too, because poached eggs typically do best in about 160 to 180 degree water. We can tell by the way that the water looks, but I've also got a thermometer just in case. What we're gonna do first is we're actually gonna add a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of salt to the water. With the salt, it's really gonna be more about flavoring the water. When that egg is dropped down, that egg is gonna soak up a lot of that salt and a lot of that flavor, so you'll have a naturally flavored egg. Now the vinegar, this actually changes the level of pH in the water. What happens with the vinegar in the water is that the egg, when it hits the water, number one, that vinegar is gonna shock it. It's gonna help kind of solidify it together. And then the heat is going to make the proteins in the eggs kind of move rapidly. They're gonna break apart, they're gonna tangle back up, and then they're gonna tangle up together, and that's what really makes that egg start to get solidified. So the whole goal with poaching an egg is getting that outer white solidified before that inside yolk does, which is what we're gonna attempt today. So we're gonna get the eggs ready to drop in the water. You can do this a few different ways. We can just drop it in a bowl, a small bowl, and then drop that into the water. We can use one of these mesh strainers to strain some of that extra egg white out, or you can really just drop the egg in if that's the easiest way. To get the perfect poached egg, we're gonna wanna try a few of these tips and tricks though. So get comfortable getting uncomfortable. Just do it. We're gonna break the egg into the bowl. Make sure I didn't break the yolk. I think I broke the yolk. Whoops. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you break the yolk. You gotta start again. So, breaking the yolk, part 2. So what we'll do is we'll get this egg inside. No broken yolk. You typically could just leave this in here and drop it in the water once it's boiled. It's not. And be done with it. What I like to do is I've got a second bowl here, and I'm gonna strain the egg just a little bit. So you might see a little bit fall at the bottom. You might not see any fall out. You can see some of this fall from the bottom, strain through the bottom. And now I'm gonna turn it just a little bit too, because you'll see some of that extra white coming out also. So now we've got a pretty tight white around the yolk. Pretty tight white. So when we drop this egg into the water, you've got that tight white, I can't say that without, and the yolk inside. Our water is starting to boil. You want the water to be just slightly boiling, bubbling a little bit, not really going at it. And that's because you don't want those bubbles to break that egg apart once you drop it in there. We're gonna stir the water and we're gonna get a good vortex going. That's gonna kind of keep that egg in the middle and help wrap the whites around the egg. Once that vortex is going, drop the egg in, and now white is going to circle around that egg. So you can start to see there's a little bit of some strings kind of happening here, and it's almost impossible to avoid that. I would just recommend that you try a few of the tips, try straining it, make sure you have fresh eggs. That's gonna be a big help. And then, at the end of the day, we'll just pick a couple of them off and, who's to know? We're gonna try to leave this in for about 2 to 3 minutes. You don't wanna leave it in much longer than that. It'll harden the inside of the egg a little too much. And we want that yolk to be nice and runny. Try not to mess with it too much. The vortex that you have going is going to keep it moving, and that slightly rolling or slight bubble for the boil will kind of keep it moving, so it's not gonna sit flat on the bottom. But as I start to move it, you do want to sort of test it and check it. That'll give us a good idea of if it's done or not by when you pick it up, how much it jiggles and how much it doesn't. So right now we've got it's still a little jiggly still. Even a couple of seconds when you drop it back in there will really help. And then when you bring it up, you don't want to bring it up where it's really solidified, because it will continue to keep cooking. So just that couple of seconds helped it up a little bit more. I think we're at a pretty good state. So I'm gonna flip this over into a plate and we're gonna cut into it and see what we find. So we've got our poached egg, we've got our toast, and we're gonna cut into it. We can see how nice and runny that interior is gonna be. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Guys, you can see this runniness. It's perfect, it's not too runny. The outside is cooked. Oh my God, this is so good. Sprinkle a little salt, and I'm just gonna take me a little bite right here. Oh my goodness. Poached eggs, guys, are incredible. They are so rich. They almost have this umami-like flavor in that yolk. It's incredible. Master a poached egg, add it to anything. Add it to a salad, to pasta, toast. This is a really versatile ingredient. Among all the other things that the incredible edible egg can do, the poached egg is definitely one of my favorites. Thank you so much for cooking with me, guys. I hope you've learned a little bit about poached eggs, how to make them a little bit better. Cooking can be intuitive, but there's also a lot of things that you can learn about it too. If you master some of these small tips and some of these tricks, it can be really easy and it can become second nature for anybody. Just get in the kitchen, cook. Food is all about showing your love. So come on by the Foodful for useful information, thoughtful cooking, and beautiful food. We'll see you soon. Okay.